What's up, everybody? It is your chime in chick, Miss Devoted Tiff, here with another review and recap of Married to Medicine Atlanta. This will be season 7, continuing with episode 5. And I'm just gonna jump right in. So, this episode picks up at Toya's paint and sip, and this is at the moment that the wives have just realized that they're going to be painting the Menzens, and the Menzens are naked and beautiful, if I do say so myself. Just very perfectly sculpted, bless the Lord, on this Sunday. So it was interesting to see the different reactions. Dr. Contessa, she was just like, this is never gonna happen again. I'm here, they're here. I'm just gonna paint them, and I'm just gonna enjoy the view, and I'm not gonna feel bad about it. Heavenly was trying to downplay and like, oh well, it'll be okay as long as I'm painting the cross that is tattooed on his chest. As long as I'm not looking down there, I'm good. Even though clearly she was looking down there, because hey, it's right there. You can't miss it. And based off of the blurb, there was a lot there. That's all I'm saying. Dr. Jackie, she was very Dr. Jackie about it. She seemed like she was in shock, but trying to still be a good sport. So she did, paint it. Somebody painted a heart, like they didn't even look at the guy, and they just their picture and they showed it at the end was a heart. Dr. Simone, she's a giggle box. And so she was just laughing and having a good time, nothing too major, just tripping out that it was actually happening. Quad was super quiet. Like, whenever they would do cutaways to her, she was kind of just almost like she was taking it seriously. Like, I'm going to paint this. I'm going to look and I'm going to paint. I'm going to look and I'm going to paint. Like, and it's funny because she's technically the single one of the group that she wasn't like, hey, but they were young guys, clearly. And so I think she liked some more mature men, so I don't think she got excited in that way. Even though they were like, oh, she ain't had none in a while. She needs to be enjoying it. But I guess Quad's like quality, as in her idea of quality. Anyways, it almost went well. It seemed like it broke the tension from earlier. But then somehow, when it all wraps up, I don't know what happened. Toya got upset all over again. At this point, Buffy is like, once again, that was not me, that was my friend. And she even said, I was trying to be Captain Toya, which she was. Like I said in the past review, she was doing a good job of trying to be the mediator, not coming too hard for her friend, but still saying, hey, this is my guest, this is my new friend, chill. But I don't know still what Toya exactly wanted her to do other than address Jocelyn and apologize to her. She did both of those things, yet she still has an issue with her. But Toya is very bratty that way, so whatever. We go to some little short clips showing Dr. Simone telling Cecil, and of course, those two, I feel like, are the couple that they always can kind of just laugh through things and not take themselves too seriously. Sometimes that works in their favor. Sometimes it causes communication breakdown. But in this situation, it worked because he was like, oh, okay. And she was like, you don't seem like you care. She's like, I could have went home with him. He's like, no, they would have brought you back. And then they just laughed it off. I love that they had that kind of dynamic in their marriage. And then we cut over to Mariah and Dr. Hook. He showed he got a little edge to him. He smacked her butt kind of hard on that pool table. I was like, okay, I see. They're keeping it fresh and spicy in the Hook household. I'm not mad. Then we go to Toya stopping by Eugene's office, and she brought him some coffee, not the donuts, because she's trying to make sure that he eats well. Which, I don't know, this season she seems a little bit thicker to me, and not necessarily in a super unflattering way, but I guess like many women like myself included, we roller coaster. And she just seems like she has a couple more pounds on her this season. But, you know, I can't say anything because I haven't had any kids and I still be. So I can't say nothing. But let me know if y'all noticed that too, or am I just tripping? Anyways, she was talking to him about the party, and he was saying how some of the husbands was kind of upset because she invited them to this event and they did not know. They didn't have the option to give their husband a heads up because they didn't know themselves what they were walking into. So I do get why they would be bothered. It's like, you know, why would you, a married woman, put my wife in this situation of being around nudity? What if you didn't know that in our household we as a couple decide not to go to strip clubs, or we decide this or that? Like, they didn't really get that chance. But interestingly enough, nobody left, so it couldn't have been too bad of an issue. So I get what she's saying on that part, but she seemed very dismissive, like she can be if she doesn't see a problem with something, or she's not mad, or she's not bothered, then nobody else should be. And I've noticed that pattern with her. So of course she was like, "What's the big deal? Are they insecure?" Like, of course, if it bothered them, they had to be insecure. It couldn't have been any other reason. Like, she tried to minimize their feelings. That bothered me, but whatever. Um, then they go to, well, hey, the lease is up where we're renting while our new home is finishing being built. It's not done, but the lease is up. What are we gonna do? Um, I guess he felt like it was in a position that they can go ahead and move in, and she's like, well, they're still finishing up things, and but at the same time, she didn't want to go to a hotel, so I feel like they did the best decision in that situation. If it were me, you know, and I don't know what their budget is, but since they're so aghast at spending under $500 for an outfit, I'm assuming they have enough money to get in a decent hotel and finish it out. But hey, I guess that's rich people problems. Next scene is Friggin' Frack of Married to Medicine, Dr. Jackie, Dr. Simone, and she came by her office and kind of was debriefing the party like, wow, there was penises there. And funny enough, in Dr. Jackie's book that she's finishing up, there is a line where she says she's never been close to any penis other than her husband's for 20 years. She's like, I don't know if I can say this is true anymore. And the answer, Dr. Jackie, is no, you can't say that anymore because those men were like in less than 5 feet of you with their penis and painting it. As a matter of fact, one of them was sitting with his butt on the table facing her. So yeah, you can't say that anymore, Dr. Jackie. But she said that the only area she was not really able to write about was sex toys. And I'm kind of with you on that one. I don't have any experience with those. And so, yeah, I guess, you know, you do what you got to do. And as we see later in the episode, she does her research on that. But overall, I think it's a great idea that she educates women on knowing their V. And this time, it's not just knowing your V, but also sex education as well. And, you know, I think giving that full whatever is a good thing instead of people always having to Google about different things like that. So that was cool. Then we go to Dr. Simone and her family. And I was excited because it's like, oh, they got towels and sheets. Finally, they took her memo to clean so she can stop complaining about her having to do all the work. But it turns out the house that she used to live in separately from them, since her husband does real estate now, they're going to convert that into, well, not convert, but use it now for the purpose of an Airbnb. And so I think that's a good idea. And I love people like flipping money or flipping things that they own. So, of course, the boys was grumbling, complaining, but, you know, boys will be boys. Then she sat them down, and this is the part I wanted to ask y'all about. I was really surprised. I was like, do they have them to do these family talks with their kids as part of, like, their storyline or being on the show? Or do they legit be having these talks like they would still be having them at this period in the kid's life if the cameras weren't there? Because I'm thinking one of her kids is like college age and the other one is about to be done with high school. You can't, please don't tell me you being an OBGYN, this is not, couldn't be the first time you've been educating them on STDs. Like, please tell me this was for the camera. I was so like shocked, like the STD talk? Now, you never showed them these pictures of what gonorrhea and chlamydia and herpes look like before, because they need to be recognizing it if they see it on a girl. I was really blown by that, but I did appreciate her having the conversation with them, which I feel like maybe Cecil should have chimed in more, or hopefully he's already had this conversation as well about what sexual assault actually is. And time she say stop, you gotta stop, or it could be some major consequences. I hope they already have had that conversation, but hey, it doesn't hurt to reiterate it. So that was good that they showed that conversation on camera, because a lot of people out here need to hear it and be reminded. Okay. The next scene was Quad and Heavenly, and Heavenly stopped by while Quad was on the phone with her lawyer, and it's just crazy. Me never being married, it's interesting to see how connected and how intricate the process of divorce is. I feel like even with marriage, it's not as much, because you do the counseling, you get you apply for the marriage license, you have the ceremony, and then that's it. But for the divorce and the undoing, it's like insane, and my heart goes out to her, because it's like already hard enough that your marriage doesn't work, but then you have to go through all this stuff. And the fact that they still have to file taxes together, that's crazy to me. But she seems like she's on top of it. Meanwhile, Dr. Heavenly, she's like, okay, be on the phone talking about your divorce. Meanwhile, I'm hungry. She's like, where are your crackers? I felt like she maybe thought she was just going to point to them in the cabinet, like while you're on the phone, somebody's talking to you, you just kind of go and grab something while you don't miss a beat and you keep talking. But Quad, she's like, really? I'm talking about my divorce and you concerned about crackers? And of course, Dr. Heavenly going to double down. Like, what? I'm hungry. Sorry, hungry. But I love them together, because they never really get super upset with each other about anything. So the next scene was guys' night. Cringe worthy. First of all, the guys' night scenes are always kind of awkward to me, because you can't really tell if they hang out together in real life, or it's just because part of their obligations of being husbands on Married to Medicine is they have to have their guy scenes, where by default, if you are the husband of one of the girls on the show, you have to show up. And so they always seem kind of awkward to me. But the place they were at seemed pretty cool. I like the concept of throwing footballs at the pins, even though they all sucked at it. Then surprise, Dr. Buffy, excuse me, not Dr. Buffy, Buffy's husband, Dr. David, showed up, and I wasn't expecting to see him. So I guess she's like an official friend of the show. Like, is she gonna be a cast member next year? Have y'all heard anything about that? I was like, what is he doing there? Because he didn't even really, he wasn't really even with the guys who were doing a lot of talking and hanging out at the frugal party. So that was interesting. But so yeah, then they start kind of all talking about the party, and Dr. Damon, you can see it, and of course, kudos to the cameraman. Excuse me, kudos to the cameraman, because he keeps cutting over to his face, and he has this lost, like, baby is lost. He's like you can tell when somebody's like listening, almost like when you use a word and somebody don't know what it means, and they just kind of like nod because they don't really know what you're talking about. Anyways, baby was lost, and they were like, well, should we be mad at you, Eugene, because you knew what was happening? So then he tried to play it like, well, I knew they were gonna be there, but I didn't know they were gonna be like dancing. And of course, it's like a game of telephone. The story gets more and more exaggerated, because now it's like they were exotic dancing. It's like they were dancing around while they were painting. Yeah, they were walking around and kind of mingling, but it wasn't all that they were saying that it was. And of course, a little instigation happens, because they're like, oh yeah, one of them I heard picked up Heavenly sensually. And that wasn't even that. When you see in the cutaway that she wasn't there for it, she was like, no, it wasn't like she was laughing, doing her little high pitch. She wasn't doing none of that. She was like, little boy, put me down. And so that could have went bad, but he didn't seem super bothered, but bothered enough to be like, well, shoot, if they could do it, we can do it too. So I'm trying to see if these guys are actually gonna dare to do it. And if they do, are the wives gonna have an issue with it? Because, hey, what's good for the goose? That's what they say. So yeah, that scene was interesting. That's how he found out. But you know, Dr. Damon, he always keeps it cool, so I didn't expect him to act too crazy, anyways. So then we go back to Toya and Dr. Eugene. It's moving day. And I really want to hear y'all's feedback on this because it seems like people that have a certain financial status, the things that I would think it would make sense that, you know, this is why I have a lot of money is to be able to enjoy it in times like this. And they don't seem to use it on those things, excuse me. Like, I'm sitting here seeing them packing, seeing them help the movers, seeing them carry stuff downstairs. But a couple of episodes ago, they were having a hard time spending under $500 on outfits. So if you can do that, why would it be an issue to spend money to pay somebody to pack it and to pay somebody to move it so that you're basically overseeing and you don't have to do anything? I was so confused that they were like helping out as much. And it's like, but what you got the money for if you're not going to use it in times like this? Like, why is this massive house you're having to do all this? Like, of course you want to move the things that sentimental value, fragile, things that you want to bring in the car with you that you don't want it to be in the truck because you don't trust how it will, the condition that it will get to the new place. I was just really confused why they were actually moving as well. So let me know y'all thoughts on that. Of course, they get to the new place and Toya's being Toya, being a little bratty, like, oh, I wanted the kids to walk in and see, the dream home. It's like you can't have it both ways. Like, if you don't want to spend the money on the hotel, you don't want to move into another rental. Hey, just the fact that you were able to get into this brand new home after having all those tax issues, 2-story closet that we keep hearing about, but you still finding something to get upset about. Like, be grateful. Like, for real, like, it's annoying. And fortunately, fortunately she has him to ground her so that he can kind of tell her, like, this is supposed to be a happy day. We're moving into a brand new home that we just paid for, like, and you're still finding something to be whiny about. Like, stop, please stop. So I was glad that he calmed her down. And then when the sons arrive, like total kids, they're just happy. They like it. They're not picking it apart like this or that. They get there and jump straight in the pool. I loved that moment. I hope that showed her, like, the kids ain't tripping about if it's not done. They're just happy to be with their family and happy to be there. So whatever. So then we go to Dr. Jackie and Dr. Heavenly and these sex toys. Listen, it's like 50 shades of Dr. Heavenly. Because she'll be like, oh, you know, me and my husband, you know, I want to be submissive. I want to do this. I want to do that. You know, me and my husband don't do that. But then we have this other side of her where she's like not feeling no type of way about putting the sex toys on her on national television and showing the pleasure, like, I'm taking this home. And then, oh, that's for the clitoris? And then goes in the corner and tries it. Like, I was like, I loved that she was so open and free, but it was, like, surprising at the same time that she was that way. Of course, Dr. Jackie, she came there for research, but she don't want to really experiment with anything. So I'm not sure how that's going to go. I guess Dr. Heavenly's going to write that chapter for her. And the lady was a trip, telling her own business. She was like, with the little chair that you lean over, she was like, well, when I use this, it actually opened them. I was like, oh, okay, excuse me. All right, then, you use this. Okay, thanks for sharing. Okay. So that was funny. I got really excited when they were talking about another girls trip because I love the girls trip episodes even more than the dinner party episodes. And they're coming to Savannah, which is where I live. And Savannah's lit. People are finding out. We got arts, we got culture, we got history, we got good food, we have views, we have beaches, and it's like a nice little secret that people are finding out about. So I was like, yeah, Well, not that they're coming, because obviously they've already been, but excited that Savannah was going to be on TV. Anyways, so I'm looking forward to that episode. The episode wraps up with Dr. Contessa, as Heavenly used to say, and Dr. Scott. And you can see the tension. They were outside with their wine, and he wasn't really giving her a lot of conversation back. And you could tell when a person's like kind of just answering your questions, but they're not really asking anything back, and that's the energy that Dr. Scott was giving. And so she kind of called him out on it, like, "You're not really feeling me, bruh. You're not really feeling me lately. What's up?" And it just kind of went downhill from there. And I got both sides. It was almost like she was saying, you haven't really been complaining about it being a lot. The only thing he really had been complaining about was her not being appreciative. He was never really saying, I'm having a hard time. He always kind of seemed like, I got it. And he never really voiced that to her. So I was with her on that, because I never heard him say that. I got what he was saying. He was like, don't try to make me out to be an unsupportive husband because I'm expressing that this is hard. I was fine with you doing this program. I just didn't know that you was trying to do it out of the city, out of the state. Like, it's Atlanta. Great institutions of education there. You could have, I guess as a compromise, do the program, but do it somewhere in town. It'll still get you where you need to go. And so I got both sides of that argument. And I hate that, she kind of turned it into a guilt thing, or was like, well, I quit, you win. And you can tell there's going to be some resentment there. And she might even bring it up later, almost like she was trying to say he made her feel guilty. But I think she was feeling guilty on her own. And so she made that decision on her own to not continue the program. And I'm glad that he said, like, I never said I wanted you to withdraw, so please don't put this on me. But she was being very passive aggressive, like, well, you always get your way. I was just hoping I would this one time. Like, really? Like, you're gonna take it all the way there? Like, you've never gotten your way in the whole marriage? You've always had been the one that gives? Like, for real? Like, you wouldn't be married, or you wouldn't even want to marry him if he was like that he never accommodated you or gave to you. Like, don't say that. But y'all know, in that situation, I'm team Dr. Scott. And that was pretty much the end of that episode. Next week seems to bring some more interesting things. And the trip to Savannah looks like it'll be next week. So we shall see, because Girl Code comes back up. And that is my chiming in for episode 5, season 7, Married to Medicine, Atlanta. Thanks for checking me out. Share it with other Married to Medicine and Bravo enthusiasts. I'm excited that we have Atlanta coming back the first Sunday in November. I definitely will be coming in a different format for those chime-ins. So keep rocking with me and let me know your thoughts. And any questions you may have, this is your chime-in chick, Miss Devoted Tiff, and I'll see you next time.